we need to see how manufacturing sector in particular can embrace new technologies.
As GDP is growing, we have a real good opportunity now to make it happen, and we should not miss this opportunity.
The enlightenment on the efficiency itself will trigger the thought process of how I can improve upon.
More than 15,000 nodes of those 35,000 nodes have been touched in the last 5 years. This is the kind of acceleration that we are seeing in the market.
Once the data is standardized, the loss of time and the resources in understanding that data is also minimized.
What is the benefit of Industry 4.0 is that you are capturing real-time data.
If you want to remain competitive, if you want traceability of your process, you don't have a choice. You have to go digital.
Our session is on Digital Manufacturing Industry 4.0. We have been listening to aerospace, defense, and whatnot, but how to make it very competitively and successfully is the secret. And in this session, you are going to learn all those things. And now I request Shri Rajesh Nath Ji to come and occupy. He is the moderator of the session. Anywhere, no problem. And I also request Dr. S. Deverajan, Shri Tej Kumar, Shri Vidyadhar, Shri Madhusudan and Kestur to please occupy. I just take 1 minute to introduce all of them. Shri Rajesh Nath has 35 years of work experience in Germany and in India, and he is awarded Cross of the Order of Merit by German President. It's a great achievement. He's a BE Mechanical and MBA, both with gold medal he passed. He joined German Engineering Federation VDMA as general manager, and now he is MD since 2008. He is member in several professional associations and an international consultant, a philanthropist and a Rotarian. To add, when I was the national president of the Institute of Indian Foundrymen, he helped us to conduct B2B meeting in Germany, which is a very, very difficult thing, and I would like to thank him now again once more. Any of you, any of us require any help in Germany, we first look to Shri Rajesh Ji, who will provide all the assistance. Sir, we look forward to your active association in Lagu Udyog Bharati in the years to come. And I welcome you on behalf of all the participants and Lagu Udyog Bharati. Yeah, I would like to briefly introduce other participants also, other panelists. Shri Tej Kumar, he is presently the Vice President, Toyota Gosei, South India. He is a BE and MBA and an expert in Toyota production systems. He is panelist in various national and international conferences on small manufacturing. What is of great importance to MSME is he is an expert in low-cost automation, which all of us need, all the small industries need. And he has received Best Karakuri Global Award from Japan. And he is also president of QCFI, Quality Forum of India, Karnataka chapter. And to add to that, is a personal friend of mine, but a fitness enthusiast. You may see him jogging in Lalbagh anytime, and a winner of many marathon running. And just now, today morning, he finished 42 kilometers running and attended 3 meetings, came here. Tonight, he is going to Japan, d- flying to Japan. Next to him is Shri Vidyadhar, Vice President, Sansera Engineering, very promising company, which started as, like us, a small manufacturing unit. He is BE and heads the engineering functions of the fast growing 3000 crore Sansera Engineering. Now employs 10,000 plus people in India. He has taken initiative in digital transformation from 2019 itself. He has vast experience working in Bosch, Bajaj Auto, and VEML. Next to him is Dr. Deverajan, who is very well known to all of us. He is BE, MS, APGD in manufacturing systems from UK. He is awarded prestigious Rolls-Royce Award and Thought Leadership from ACMA, Component Manufacturers Association. He is 38 years of manufacturing experience in prestigious TVS company in all areas, and presently is concentrating on advanced manufacturing with expertise in TPM, JIT and digital manufacturing. He is a member of several associations and was just recently the president of Bangalore Chamber of Industries and Commerce. Next to him is Sri Madhusudan N. Kestur, the founder director of AceMicromatic Manufacturing Intelligence Technologies, AMIT. Sri Madhusudan Kestur is the founder director of AceMicromatic, established in 2013. He holds a BE in Mechanical Engineering and MTech in Computer Engineering from NITK Surathkal, and brings over 30 years of industry experience. AMIT, under his leadership, has become a pioneer in advancing IoT and Industry 4.0 adoption in manufacturing, with implementation across 35,000 plus nodes and 1,000 plus customers. His work spans developing intelligent manufacturing and logistics software for both Indian industries and the US federal government. Mr. Sri Madhusudan is also a frequent speaker at industry and academic forums. And I think we have all the champions whom you could even imagine, dream of to discuss. Please take the best advantage. Now I leave the forum to Shri Rajesh Nath ji.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Sundarmurthy, and good afternoon to all the participants here for this panel discussion today. Friends, we are going to cover a very important topic on Industry 4.0 smart manufacturing. In fact, you hear these terms coming more and more now in the manufacturing field. And that is what we want to hear from our experts. How Industry 4.0, smart manufacturing, digital transformation, when we look at its application in the manufacturing industry, how it can be implemented, what are the advantages, what are the challenges the companies face when we talk about adopting automation, going forward with smart manufacturing. And my first question, Mr. Tej Kumar, to you is, Industry 4.0 smart manufacturing, Mr. Tej Kumar, has now become a buzzword. Any panel discussion on manufacturing, any session on manufacturing, you will hear about it. But tell us, Mr. Tej Kumar, what can be actually the drivers for companies to adopt, whether we call it smart manufacturing or to adopt Industry 4.0? What are the key drivers?
Uh, First of all, very good afternoon to all of you, and my Humble pranams and dhanyawad to the organizers for bringing such a vibrant topic and giving me an opportunity to be with the other panelists so that I get an opportunity to learn more. So thank you very much for that. Now coming to the question, we we have been very used to the word smart, but now we have added the word manufacturing to it. We talk about being very smart in the work. We talk about somebody look is looking so smart. But in reality, when we look at the manufacturing sector with the invent of technologies, so how can this be integrated when we really look at that? We are in the business field. Every one of you sitting here is in the business field. And when we are in business, we have to see that how can we excel beyond the best. And there's nothing called the best. It is something like a mirage. It keeps on changing. You will never reach because today's best is not tomorrow's best. So, when we are looking at this aspect, if we have to excel as a business performance point of view, we need to see how manufacturing sector in particular can embrace new technologies. And doing that, very important thing is our baseline is what? We need to be competitive, we need to grow, and we need to give back to the society and the country. So when you look at that bottom foundation, then comes the point of which way of improving ourselves. And the popular Japanese word kaizen. So the birth of kaizen is talking about small improvements, and today we are talking a similar improvement in a bigger scale through smart manufacturing. So today's customer, today's market is not waiting for you to receive what they want. They want what they want when they want. And we have to give them at that time right quantity at the right time at the right place for the right person for the right purpose. If we don't do that, then we are not in the race. So, how can we be flexible? One of the key drivers for embracing technology and IoT in particular is how can we be flexible and give the customer requirements? And in the process, how can we optimize our resources? It can be any resources. In Japanese, we call muda, waste. How can we reduce our waste? Because every waste in an organization, sorry to say, the best of the best companies have 30 to 40% waste. Best of the best. Imagine the other companies. So if we can avoid that waste. So flexibility, avoiding the wastage and manpower optimization in all this process, if you see, will drive us to become more competitive. And that is where today we are looking at, or everybody needs to look at smart manufacturing or IoT from a bigger perspective and a right time for us, where India is galloping towards becoming one of the largest economy. I think these drivers are going to play a key role to see that IoT will become a game changer for every one of us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tej Kumar. I think, thank you for this opening statement. I think it's really sets the tone, and you have highlighted the advantages or what are the key drivers which can inspire companies to go towards smart manufacturing. Let's take that further, and I would like to come to Mr. Vidyadhar. Now, Mr. Vidyadhar, Mr. Tej Kumar has highlighted the drivers for smart manufacturing. If we look at the scenario in India, and let us look at this exhibition also, Mr. Vidyadhar, the backbone of India's manufacturing growth lies with the MSMEs. We have, they say, almost 63 million MSMEs in the country. Here at the exhibition also, we had a lot of mid-sized family-owned companies participating here in the exhibition. Now, when we look at this structure that India has for manufacturing, Mr. Vidyadhar, for an MSME, there are a lot of constraints also. So, what we wanted to understand from you, Mr. Vidyadhar, is keeping these financial constraints, maybe financial constraints, lack of skilled manpower, limited knowledge availability, how can still the MSMEs actually utilize digitalization and benefit from it, Mr. Vijay?
Yeah. Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me for this a beautiful discussion where I would look forward to share as well as learn many of the things related to Industry 4.0. Coming to the question, first of all, Industry 4.4 is a part of digital journey of any industry. So digital journey, first thing is there are constraints. Industry 4.0, in my opinion, is a tool which will help us in overcoming these constraints. What fundamental thing about Industry 4.0 is it allows us to measure each and every activity that is being carried out in the industries. What gets measured gets improved. Today, we are doing lot many activities in our manufacturing process which are not being measured, which are not being documented. Measuring and documentation are the key things in Industry 4.0. When we start measuring and documenting those things, it will help us in analyzing over a period of time whether the performance or the activities what we are carrying out are in a efficient way or not. The enlightenment on the efficiency itself will trigger the thought process of how I can improve upon. When these all the activities are being measured, then when we start analyzing those activities, then automatically the thing starts coming up that okay, this how I can improve upon, where I am losing it, where I can improve upon. So this way, even though there are constraints, these Industry 4.0 tools will help us how I can overcome those constraints. Somewhere we may not be aware that these are the constraints. There may be some low hanging fruits which we can easily reap the benefits and increase the efficiency in terms of the profitability of the organization. So it will get us to the measurement and analysis and improvement as well by providing the tools for documenting and measuring. So it will help us. This is how it helps us in overcoming all these constraints.
Yeah. And friends, I think that's a very important point that Mr. Vidyadhar has touched upon. Because what is the benefit of Industry 4.0 is that you're capturing real time data. And based on that data availability, you're able to take remedial action. A typical case, Mr. Vidyadhar, for example, predictive maintenance.
Yes.
Now, that can only be done when you have real time data. So, thank you for highlighting this very important point. Let me come to you now, Dr. Deverajan. Dr. Deverajan, now when we talk about manufacturing, we are talking about an ecosystem. There is the manufacturer, there are the suppliers, R&D institutes, academia, other institutes involved. So in this ecosystem, Dr. Deverajan, for example, TVS is a very large company. But how can you take your vendor along also when we talk about this journey of digital transformation or Industry 4.0?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for this opportunity and very important question. I think we heard the importance of Industry 4.0, and I come from the automobile industry. Automobile industry is everyone. Mobility is a need of the nation itself. Everybody is important for us. Mobility is life for all of us. So in our case, what happens is the things are changing in automobile industry today. IC engine is getting changed to EV, changed to hybrid in many areas. I'll come in that context. India is growing, but there's a lot of changes happening in the industry itself. So we are in a cusp of change. And change is a must for us. I think if you're talking about IC engine, it's got more than 400 parts. And if you have EV, it's going to one or two battery system. So entire thing changes. So the most critical thing in implementation of the transparency, as what I call in terms of data capturing, improving elimination of waste, identifying and elimination of waste. Why are we doing all these things? To be in the market, to be competitive. Okay, to reduce waste will help us to reduce the cost and helps to be in the market today. Okay, that's a very important thing to understand. To be in business today, we need to go for digital to be transparent. It is changing. It is not a very big buzzword of saying we are going digital, industry 4.0. I come from manufacturing, so I go into base of why we need. Okay, so it is important for us if we have to survive transparently, we need to ensure that it is captured and sensorization of all it. To make it happen, you can't do OEMs cannot do on their own. We have many of the tier one, tier two suppliers. We have engineers coming into our factory. We have startups coming to factory. Why it is important? Because things are changing. So we have to catch up. We are almost running like marathon is talking, almost running a 400-meter race or 100-meter race and marathon. Continuous increase in our this. So how are you trying to do it? Integration, bringing people together, understanding what are the customer need, what we have. So we need to be transparent with the suppliers. For example, with the suppliers, we should be transparent with the data itself. Common data. Have the milk run to reduce the waste in transportation. These are all things. And visibility, where is the changes happening in the market requirements? If the customer changes, I need to change my production. Supplier has to supply. So our backbone today is the supplier, is the engineers coming to a factory. So we need to ensure how the engineers coming are factory ready. So transparency, working together. In what we have done is we made cluster approach. We have worked along with the suppliers, see that the integration, what we are doing in a factory, how we can extend it to, and majority think we should be transparent ourselves. Let the drawing be transparent, get the data very clearly. And believe me, in many of our factory is around 60, 70 years old. We have old machines, new machines. We need to be transparent. So we have we're going to basics in whatever we do in TVS. We put all the machines and the sensor, get the data from the machine, talk about the machine, extend the same thing to supplier. We have made cluster approach, tier one, tier two, supplier approach. So these are and then similar startups. A lot of new ideas come from startups. So we need to give them opportunity for them to do. So if I try to, and then including to the academic, how can we make our engineers ready when they come, work along with the internship, work along with them? It's a journey what we find. I always trying to make it as an energy of transition. Okay. If you really transit, there are 5 E's, which is important. As an OEM, we should have energy among ourselves to say that what is happening. If we're not doing it, we not survive. So we need to be ready to change. That's the area. One is E, first E. Second is we energize our team. Team, including our engineers, including our suppliers, you have to energize our team. Third E is the edge. New ideas. We should talk about that. We should talk about the new things. And TVS is a very local company, but we want to really make it global in many areas. Very, very. Fourth is definitely we need to energize edge and we try to embrace new technology. Okay. Fifth is we need to have environment. Sustainability is our area. And I strongly believe for India to grow, our culture, we need to take it. Whatever we see in Vedas or Ramayana, it's all applicable to us in manufacturing. And as GDP is growing, we have a real good opportunity now to make it happen. And we should not miss this opportunity. So this is the way we're trying to integrate, interlink, bring people together and enable it to do. Because you can't just say do IoT, do additive manufacturing. It's not a buzzword. Application is important. Customer focus is important. Pain points in both the customer, supplier, transshipment. And finally, the purpose. We are all in business to be competitive. We have to grow when GDP is growing in India. We are the only Indian or the country which have a positive way of 6.76% growth. If you see, I travel a lot to UK and USA. I feel India, we are such a good opportunity today. And we come back and say we need to do it. So it's not embrace a new technology, what we have. And it is not rocket science. Make it step by step, like what Kaizen you're mentioning. Step by step, we're trying to say, how do you have sensor in every area? Make it participative. That I found very effective way to bring people together. It is not just direction from top. It doesn't work. If you say, I need to do 4.0, I need to get digital, it doesn't work. You have to participate along with them, enable them to get along with you, and see that you show them this thing, work along with and show it will benefit for them. And believe me, all this transparency improves quality. Straight away, it improves quality, rework is reduction. So definitely the quality is improved. Once the quality improves, the cost comes down. It's not the other way. So I think it's a purpose in which we are doing. And I find this journey is extremely exhilarating. We need to deliver it. And that's the way we take in TVS Motor.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Deverajan, for the talking about the change. And also, I found very interesting the 5 E's, the change. So, thank you for enlightening us with that. Coming to you now, Mr. Madhusudan. We've heard from our panelists, I think, the importance of Industry 4.0, the importance of going the digital path. But tell us, Mr. Madhusudan, where does India stand? We know it is important, but when we look at the Industry 4.0 adoption curve, where would India stand on it?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I will try to address that question in two ways. One is the footprint that we have seen. So, as you mentioned in the opening statement while you were introducing me, we have already touched more than 35,000 nodes as AMG over the last 20 years. Right. So now, when I look at the acceleration that has happened in the last 5 years, more than 15,000 nodes of those 35,000 nodes have been touched in the last 5 years. This is the kind of acceleration that we are seeing in the market. The other input that is relevant here is this 15,000 nodes has been across only 600 customers. And more than 1/3 of those customers keep coming back to us for horizontal deployment. As they add more machines, as they scale up on their plants, they would like to take these solutions to the other machines and the other plants as well. So this is a very good indication that it is no longer just trying something for the sake of trying it, but they have been able to sustain this over a period of time, derive benefits out of those systems, and they're willing to invest money to make it a part of their operational DNA. So this is the kind of adoption that is happening across segments. It is not just in one segment. We have customers in aerospace, we have customers in defense, and the most surprising aspect this year for us, 20% of our business is coming from the defense sector.
Right.
And the seriousness with which these solutions are being implemented in factories that we are working with, especially in the Chennai region, it is amazing. They are far more serious than many of the private companies that we come across. So it is not just anymore a pilot. I mean, I'll try on 10 machines. Let me try on 2 lines. It's no longer that game anymore. And even when we look at the RFQs that we receive, the depth and breadth of what the customer is asking for has increased significantly. So it is no longer an application that I need it in a silo. Even from the word go, they are imagining a digital thread that runs across the enterprise. It is no longer a departmental initiative, it is an enterprise initiative. It is top driven, it has to be top driven, but the adoption has to come at all levels. So there is an inclusive mentality, just like Dr. Deverajan was referring to. So we are very positive, and we see that the digital adoption is it's a part of the system now. If you want to remain competitive, if you want traceability of your process, if you want traceability of your parts, if you want to be answerable to your customer, you don't have a choice. You have to go digital.
Absolutely. And I think, friends, this is a very important point, what Mr. Madhusudan mentioned, because as India has aspiration that we increase our exports, now that can only happen, and or one of the important part is the traceability part you mentioned on that.
Just to add, when you mentioned exports, we have a significant installation in China with SFL. We have an installation in Mexico. So now I don't think people have heard Indians going out and installing Industry 4 solutions in other countries. So that is happening now.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, Dr. Deverajan.
I think talking about exports,
Right.
even India itself, the quality is very, very important about traceability.
Absolutely.
Even small issues, you can go to a problem in especially in the public forum today.
Right.
Amount of Facebook, everything available today, it spreads like anything. So we have to be careful. Exports, India market itself is so huge. Both of
Absolutely.
the traceability, ensure that what we make, who has made it, and ensure which the drawing which is made, everything has to be related today. And sustainability is coming in a big way if you want to export.
Yep.
Otherwise, you can't export at all.
Right.
So it's a green, it's a
That's
it's a journey as what is mentioned. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Dr. Dev. Mr. Tej Kumar, let's take it on a little broader horizon now. We have seen in the last few years, especially in the last 5 years, a lot of disruptions happening. I typically say the 3 C's. We had the COVID, we have climate, we have conflict also, which was not there earlier. Now the supply chain disruptions are taking place in a big way. The whole, on one side we talk about global supply chain, on the other side we are talking about how you can strengthen the regional supply chains. Tell us, Mr. Tej Kumar, under these uncertain circumstances, what role can digital transformation play here to ensure for companies, global companies also, that your supply chains are ensured?
I think now, over a period of time, even disruption may become the buzzword,
Right.
not IoT.
Right.
So people started talking about COVID as a disruption. Then every second week, you see some disruption. We saw 2 major OEMs suffering because of a cyber attack. Then we had the Red Sea challenge,
Right.
where the total supply chain got crippled. So, and then we have our big friend making some new concepts and theories affecting the global economy. So it's now the only period of disruption. I think we have to understand the fact that yes, we are in a very disruptive world, and abnormality is not something very unusual. We have to be prepared to face this disruption. But COVID was something phenomenal impact, which really triggered the digital transformation. Particularly, I myself was feeling in my past 27 years of experience that even one day not going to Gemba or a shop floor was something I couldn't have imagined. But situation came there that we had to sit at home and we have to do many things, if not for that shutdown period, but for the future as well. So the entire future shaping of our company's activities started in my house, similarly in my colleague's house. So that's all because of technology. And this has happened across the globe because it was a global pandemic. So from that point of view, the real trigger was COVID, actually.
Right.
I mean, people's realization of how much, particularly manufacturing industries, if I'm wrong, maybe the panelists also can correct me. Did we really give so much of importance to the digital world and the technology and the approach towards looking at and benefiting through this was something which took a leap change in the COVID. And that has resulted in a situation where today, all said and done, it's a negative situation we talked about as COVID. But look at the positive things, which gave so much of opportunity for so many startup companies. And that is purely because of technology. And today, that startup companies have excelled. I'm not saying all, we all know that where the startup, Bangalore is one of the startup capital of the world, okay? So it gave opportunities for many of the people to excel. And coming to the supply chain point of view, we had challenges. We had very recently also challenges. But because of technology, we were able to connect to different locations I still remember, we had a very tight call calling to our suppliers in Poland, diverting the consignment from Europe to India. Because, like, unfortunately, Europe was not doing well, and it was a need of the hour for us. So all these type of quick decisions and strategic approach is being possible because of technology. And supply chain disruptions has also given a thought process towards, people were talking about lean manufacturing as only limited to the Japanese companies and some of the few Indian companies. Now that is going to be the real impactful activity, where if you are not lean, then every fat is a waste.
Right.
Okay, so human body fat also is a waste. Company's fat also is a waste.
Especially if you're doing marathons.
Yeah. So let us look from that perspective. The digital impact is very essential, which is now driving lean manufacturing. Like most of the companies have started business excellence. There's a separate department, there's a separate team, there's separate champions, which was not seen in the earlier times. Why this? Because we know that we are working in a disruptive world, and so we need to do this. Supply chain and tier 1 and tier 2 also is now being embraced, like Deverajan sir was telling, how the OEMs are handholding and helping them to overcome, where supply chain is not a supply chain, they are supply partners. And that is how technology and OEMs are now growing together. So this might say so.
Absolutely, Mr. Rajkumar. I think this collaborative approach is becoming more and more, I think, relevant and important. Mr. Vidyadhar, I'll come to your first statement you had mentioned. So, Mr. Vidyadhar, when we are talking about Industry 4.0, now how critical is data standardization and interoperability between systems and machines when we talk specifically about Industry 4.0 as well as the real-time data?
Yeah. The fundamental thing that Industry 4.0, as I mentioned, is brings in the recording and measurement of the data. This being the very basic feature that Industry 4.0 brings, the standardization is also very, very important, because if you want to analyze, one basic thing that Industry 4.0 brings is a single thread, digital thread from start to the end of the all activities, all the functions. That means each activity in an organization are interconnected. When imagine a situation, we don't have Industry 4.0, each department works in their own silos. The data that one department generates is known only to those departments. If it is to be understood by another department, it has to be explained, and there is a possibility of changing the data, loss of that data, and resources are need to be engaged to explain that to the next department. While explaining also, there is a lot of changes and loss of the information can happen. But Industry 4.0, what it brings is a standardization and each single source of truth. The data that is stored is accessible by everybody, and everybody's understanding is the same. So when, suppose, take the example of our traffic itself. In every traffic signal, we understand that red is stop, orange is get ready, green is go. This is understood by each and every person. Similarly, in the Industry 4.0, every data that is captured and stored has to be standardized so that the same meaning is drawn by each and every person in the thread that is connected. So that becomes very, very important. Once the data is standardized, the loss of time and the resources in understanding that data is also minimized. So this helps in enhancing gap in communication, loss of resources, and decisions are made very easily. The same information, if is understood by read by many people, the decision most likely the outcome of the decision is going to be the same, because these are all based on a standard set of data. So whenever any industry wants to start industry 4.0, the first thing is to be spend time on how the data has to be, so that what is the meaning of each data, how it is to be read. So spending a little bit more time and resources on that in standardizing that data is much more important to get a benefit at a later stage and then throughout the journey of the industry 4.0 working.
Right. And I think that's so important also, Mr. Vidyadhar, because we capture a lot of data, but unless you're able to utilize the data, get the key points from the data, and they say actually data analysts, that's going to be one of the next where people, especially the younger generation, have a big future. So thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. Dr. Deverajan, now you represent the automotive industry. Automotive industry plays a very important role in India's manufacturing, Dr. Deverajan. Also, when we talk about global participation of Indian companies, be it in exports. But tell us, Dr. Deverajan, when we talk about the automotive value chain, what role does India play in the global scenario? And the second part of my question was, how can India benefit from global corporations?
It's a very interesting question, because India is growing, and in fact, India is number one in terms of the probably two-wheelers, and number two in terms of the four-wheelers too. So I think the growth is there. The reason is there is a growth in Indian market as well as for exports.
Right.
So I come from the exports angle. When we design our vehicle, especially motorcycle or scooters or anything, to be designed for Indian roads, you see a lot of potholes and everything. It can work on any country. We export something like 80 countries or 85 countries where there are roads, where there are no roads. So India capability of design is so strong that are especially mopeds, if you see, or motorcycle, we're able to do it anywhere. So that's a starting point. So the second thing is there are a lot of interest in the external world to make designs in India. That's another opportunity, because we talk about Germany itself. Even BMW, we design and make vehicles about 310cc to BMW Motor, and from the last 6-7 years, around more than 1 in every 4 vehicles sold by BMW all over the world is made in India, made by TVS.
I think a round of applause for
important.
that. Thank you.
The reason I'm trying to mention is the Indian quality demand has gone up. Why it has gone up? If you really see our own customers, for example, if we go to a dealer shop or anywhere you go, the young engineers, young customers who are coming to our dealers, they know more of the product than ourselves. They say Tesla has this capability. Why can't you have it in your IQ?
Hmm.
That's the feedback I get from the customer. The demand from the customer, young customers, are very, very high. Okay. And second thing is quality. We need to ensure that it delivers the range, it delivers the requirement of quality, consistency. So demand is there in India itself. Indian growth also is there. Another thing is when we're talking about external market, especially Africa, Sri Lanka, huge amount of market is there. And how we can get this product done? Because today the product life cycle is less. Previously, if I buy a vehicle, I'll keep it for 10 years. Moped, I keep for 20, like that. India today is changing. Every 3 months, they need something change, and the affordability has gone up and need a new vehicle. Are we able to get the speed? Are we able to deliver the requirement of consistency? Hence, digital is coming to picture. PLM is coming to picture in other areas. Now we are trying to say working along with the universities.
Right.
The collaboration we have along with many of the universities today. And I found even RV College, I think they've done an unmanned vehicle last week.
Right.
So it's already available in our universities itself. Are we tapping it? We are trying to work on that area. We are tapping the Indian IITs. Like institutions like this, and outside India, we send for our engineers. We send almost 100 engineers every year for higher studies with a purpose in mind. That is, we need to have suspension system, battery system, manufacturing system. We send outside India also. So it's important to have integration among with the. Again, I come back to in the 3 I's I talk about. One is the inquisitiveness. We need to have inquisitive among ourselves that we need to deliver change. Second, we need to take initiative.
Right.
And third, we need to implement. So this is the areas in which we try to work on. But I think the capability of collaboration, internship outside, getting, and we do a reverse mentoring also. We talk with our young engineers coming to our factory. They have a lot of ideas, like you're talking about digital. We're trying to do digital with them and ensure they are interested in many of our areas. So I think it is a journey of integration, journey of collaboration along with the universities. And I feel there are a lot of grants from the government also. We are able to tap those things and extend it to the MSMEs. Like ensure that digital is taken by the MSMEs through some government terms also. So I have different views in which saying that it should be bottom up and top down. If government can give initiatives to OEMs like us, saying that if you can deliver 20 good digital suppliers, tier one, tier two, this is the benefit for you. Then it gives you a benefit for all of us in area.
Right.
So it is, I think, collaboration with the universities, collaboration with the design portion of it, and with a purpose. Like, for example, digital twin, we are talking very strongly with the universities.
Right.
So what we have digital, see whether we are able to manufacture, and again go back into benefit of it. Waste is getting eliminated. Transparency, like I think he mentioned about the logistics. Logistics amount of digital benefit we get is extremely good. If I got it, especially on the cluster approach, milk run, like what people have implemented. In fact, in many of our industries, the transportation cost used to be around 12%, 15%. It has to come down to 3%. It will come down if you're able to get transparency in it. That helps us the benefit of cost. So in terms of the speed, the quality consistency, the new products required by the customer, and ensure that the cost competitiveness will enable us to grow. And that will help India to grow GDP. And since automobile industry is a major driver, as what we find, I think we are trying to take the pioneer role. But one major thing I found is learning from our suppliers. Many of our suppliers, like all our big suppliers, Bosch is supplier, Sansera, the amount of learning which you get from the suppliers, are we tapping it, working with them?
Right.
What is the long range the technology plan from Sansera, from Infineon, whatever it is? How to get those technology which will help our OEMs.
Right.
So it has been a joint approach, integrating approach, and it is a journey, sir. It is not over at all. It just started, but I think the right time today because India is growing, and we're talking about 7% growth this year, and I think more 10 million, 30 million, we will be able to get by integrating, working together. It will not happen on its own.
Right.
It's an integrated approach in terms of the new product. Again, going by the thing, we should have the quality consistency in our area, safety portion of it today. All vehicles today, safety is extremely important.
Mm.
We have also made helmet in which if you don't wear a helmet, the vehicle will not start.
Okay.
So it has to be linked to the benefit to the customer. Then he says, oh, this is my benefit, this is for my areas. So working together with a purpose in mind, both from the collaborators along with our education institutions, our suppliers, and reverse mentoring of the engineers coming to our factory. It's a journey in which we are trying to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Deverajan. In fact, I also strongly believe Industry 4.0 is not a destination. It's a journey that the companies have to undertake, and the journey of each company will be unique in itself. But thank you for that, Dr. Deverajan. And so, just taking it further, Mr. Madhusudan, can you give us one concrete example of how implementation of Industry 4.0 has actually led to business gains or benefited the company? That would be nice.
So when we go into these customer sites, typically the efficiency side of the order of 40 to 50%. That's what we have experienced. So there is a lot of scope for improvement, a lot of wastage in the system. So we have more than 200 use cases or case studies that the customers have themselves come forward and shared in the public forums where they have significantly benefited from implementing these systems. So I can mention one case study from Pune, where they are a spindle tooling manufacturing company. They have more than 165 machines running our solutions. So when we started with them about 5 years back, they had about 75 machines which had installed our solutions. So the problem statement there was their batch sizes are very small, very small batch sizes of 5, 4, 1, things like that. So they encounter a lot of setup changes. When you have small batches, you tend to do 3 or 4 setups in a shift. So they were not able to overcome this issue because they have more than 10,000 FGV parts. Each part has got about 8 operations. Each operation can be done in 4 or 5 machines, different types of machines. So now you look at the matrix, you have 10,000 into 4 into 8. So they did not even have a reference benchmark. They don't know what is the standard cycle time. They did not know what was the loading, unloading that had to be provided. They did not know their setup times. So it was very messy. Now, the problem was kept very simple. They wanted a seamless flow of information from one department to the other department so that the next department would keep things ready. Seamless flow of information is what they were looking for. OE is just a byproduct. At the end of the day, you get 70% OE, it is just a byproduct of what you have actually implemented. So now what they did was they requested us to make it a paperless shop floor, come up with the digital recipes for every operation. And we took about 4 months to just establish the reference benchmarks. So what are their standard cycle times? What should be the loading unloading time? What should be the setup time? To just establish these reference benchmarks, we took about 4 months. So the implementation was OE monitoring, where you monitor cycle times, load unload times, down times, setup times, etc. Making a digital recipe of their paper-based working. So every machine had a console. The operator would just log into the console and he would be presented with 3 or 4 plans, machine loading plans that he had to work on. So there would be one planner working in the background, setting up this loading plans for the shift. Now, once the operator selected the plan, he would be presented with all the required documentation like drawing, program, tools, fixture, etc. Whatever is required to do that job. Now you are achieving multiple things. One is error proofing. You don't work with the wrong program or the wrong tool or the wrong fixture and then end up with rejections. The operator is also being told proactively what is the upcoming plan. So he can go to the stores and get everything, whatever is required for the job. So now the planner releases the plan. The same plan is visible in the design department and on. So the drawings are kept ready. The same thing is visible in the stores and on. The same thing is visible with the programming section. So he can keep the program ready. By doing this, they were able to eliminate 200 hours per day. 200 hours of wastage per day was eliminated. And the owner has gone public and he has shared it in a public forum that the savings of 2 crores was realized in the first year itself. This is the kind of impact a digital transformation can have. And see, when you talk about challenges, you may have a lot of apprehension. Like, how do I invest 50 lakhs or 1 crore? The same person, about 20 years back, we had a tough time convincing him to go and buy a Windows license. Today, he is talking about, do you have a failover cluster? This has become mission critical for me. I can't have my server go down. If one server goes down, it has to automatically be picked up on the second server. The same Marwadi is talking about a failover cluster today. So this is the kind of impact the digital transformation can have. And coming to a larger implementation, we have a very successful implementation with Sona Comstar. 3 plants are running our solutions. And there it is an example where they have been so successful at using these solutions that they have mandated that tier 1 and tier 2 suppliers to adopt. So this is the kind of adoption that we are seeing. And especially with automated toolware offset correction solutions, there is a lot of return on investment. The tool life has gone up. The tolerance bands have come down. And once this has become transparent, the vendors are also expected to share the same data with Sona Comstar. So they don't need to, there are times to validate and quality and all that. It has come down significantly. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Madhusudan. I think these are some very powerful examples you have given and strong example. Yes. Yes, please. Yeah.
Especially in the office work. So Industry 4.0 generally gives the feeling that it is only on the shop floor.
Yeah.
No, it is also applicable for engineering as well as office works as well. One of the classic example is the response to the customers within our organization when we receive an inquiry for quotation. So earlier, the management vision or the mandate was the response should go within 1 week from the date of receipt of the inquiry from the customer. So before the implementation of PLM within our organization, all the communications, because one RFQ preparation requires the input from 14 different functions, the raw materials, special processes, heat treatment, cycle time, like that. There are 14 agencies which they have to give a input, and then based on that, the quotation gets worked out. All the communications were through email. We were not able to trace out where we are losing a time, when which agency in which inquiry, the which agency has delayed and other things. When we implemented PLM into the system, we had a clear workflow. When everybody started putting in their data, it was easily possible to monitor for every inquiry which department has taken how much of time. It was possible to measure and then analyze why it is taking more time. Is it a resource constraint or the skill constraint? So with that, initially there was no data to analyze. First thing is we started collecting the data. That data shows us that response time was ranging from 2 days to 200 days. In case of some outliers like 200 days, the input has come from some of the departments. It was lying in their inbox, but nobody has acted on that. When it started measuring that, all these kind of inefficiencies were plugged. Since last 4 to 6 months, we have not had any escalations of not receipt of the quotations within 1 week. So this is how the benefit of practical use case which I would like to share.
Right. Thank you. And Dr.
And I
Deverajan
think
also.
one point here.
Yeah.
I think we make one vehicle every 14 seconds in our company. Mass production of all moped, motorcycle. Here, we have changed that thing to even for BMW now. We are doing it for order. German releases the order, and we need to do the same delivery that same day. So we have made to order in our factory, based on the order, and they know from Germany itself where is the vehicle coming in, whether machining is happening or assembly is happening, testing is happening. That chain is happening in our. That's because of digital manufacturing. Second thing is in terms of mass production itself. Third is we have Apache where you can order it based on what color you want, what suspension you want, what are the areas made to order. So I'm talking about 14 seconds, made to order, variety in order. And this is possible only because of ensure that the common data platform is available, data is transparent, visible in our case, plan to make the delivery of the vehicles. It is the benefit for the company, the growth of the company itself. So if we have this mindset saying that this is for the growth of yourself, growth of the company itself, growth of the country, digital becomes a part of the entire work. Yeah. Instead of saying I need separate digital team, separate, you need to ensure that it is all transparent, and that's the way we are trying to do it.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. I think when we talk about Industry 4.0 or this digital transformation journey, the discussion would not be complete without the human factor. Because ultimately it's the humans also who play an important role in it. And let's try to understand now from our esteemed panelists also looking at this human factor. Let me start with you, Mr. Madhusudan, this time. How can companies manage the cultural change? Because we are talking of shift from legacy production systems to a digital mindset. So this cultural change, how can companies ensure that this cultural change within the enterprise amongst the workforce goes smooth?
I think it's a very important aspect. First thing is there should be a clear message that it's not about the people. So even when we go into base systems like OE monitoring or production monitoring systems, we make it very clear that it is not about the operator or not about the supervisor. The problem lies in the middle layer, where there is a lot of communication gap that happens between what needs to be done and what actually gets done. So it's not about the first that message has to be sent clearly. These projects have to be top driven. There is no other option. A clear vision that needs to be established. Why, as to why we are undertaking this digital transformation, the why needs to be very clearly defined and communicated to all the stakeholders. The senior management or the seniors in the company have to walk the talk. They have to live and they have to really demonstrate digital adoption. If I ask my team to come up with a digital project and I keep using pen and paper, then that sends a wrong signal. So walking the talk, digital adoption being advocated in spirit,
Right.
makes a huge difference to the adoption cycle. Then comes leveraging the already available industry for roadmaps, where we talk about vertical integration. You start with one function like a production function which gives the best ROI. Then you start integrating the other functions. It may be design, it may be your sales and marketing, it may be your quality system, etc. So there is a way to go about doing this. Once you have achieved a digital enterprise, then now it is time for including your ecosystem like your suppliers and customers. So there is a recipe that has already worked and it just needs to be adopted. So that would probably make what, how, and when clear. That is the roadmap that we are talking about. So first portion was the why. The second portion of what, how, and when will be clear in the industry for roadmap that is drawn up. Definitely, there is an upskilling required.
Yes.
There is a fear. The upskilling is required. There will be gaps. And we have also implemented skill matrix type of applications where the training needs are easily identified and plugged back into the system. So that is another aspect that needs to be taken care of. And collaborative working between functions is important. Now there is a shift in the ownership. For example, probably when Mr. Deverajan was driving this project, it was headed by a P or an ME function. Today, it is driven by the CIO. It is a part of the CIO mandate because it is looked at as an enterprise application.
Right.
Now, CIO has a lot of fear because he doesn't know whether the other departments will cooperate, especially the maintenance person. So there is a lot of collaboration that needs to happen between departments. Then comes the recognition and reward. Even a small, recognition reward, it has a multiplier effect, and then it becomes a journey of its own. So this has been our experience. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Very interesting. Dr. Deverajan, now the IT industry in India is actually seeing challenging times, I would say. Earlier, when few years back, we were talking about freshers being told laid off. Now, actually, the mid management, if you see the latest developments, people from the mid management in the IT industry are being laid off. Coming to the automotive industry, Dr. Devraj, how can the automotive industry balance this well? On one hand, you have the young engineers. India has a very young population. Our median age is 28.4. So we have the young engineers. On the other hand, you have the experienced people. So where would be the correct balance when we talk about this industry 4.0? Because the older generation, like I struggle with my iPhone. So I don't know, would I fit in the future workforce, Dr. Devraj?
I think it's a very, very interesting question. See, what we are trying to do or trying to learn to do by watching many of the companies like Toyota, Bosch, and other team members, and BMW and other areas, we are trying to go towards innovation-driven team, than just cost-driven. For example, if you say only cost is important, then productivity will become very important. Every area development is happening. So if you go towards innovation-driven team, it brings for the future. So every level in terms of the managers, the department managers, we are trying to change towards the CFT approach, cross-functional team approach, because every person in the company is important because he has a role to play, and the role clarity that's what is going to be very, very important. In terms of mix of youngsters and the experience, very, very important is we need to have good experienced team also, because from the way in that the company has been brought up, ensure that the basic is very, very important. We always call it as a tip of the iceberg. The tip of the iceberg is all lean manufacturing, your IoT, all are things. But what is the base? Base has to be very, very strong in terms of planning work, in terms of engineering work, in terms of tooling work. The manufacturing depends on a good base. That's the base we are trying to work along with our team members. We are saying this is an innovation. However, you need to have good base. Okay. So we are trying to work. If you say what is the ratio, we are talking about maybe 60-40, think that we should have it. And especially for R&D type of activity today, the customer connect is very, very important. The customer is all what we are trying to work on. So each customer, especially for two-wheelers and four-wheeler, they want change. They want new technology to come in. So we need to bring in the youngsters approach, thinking. Otherwise, it is standardization. One is SDCA is a must important for us, but PDCA is important for us to improve.
Right.
And we're talking about Kaizens in many areas. Okay, in the factory, we say Kaizen, improvement every step. But in design, we're talking about Kaikaku. Kaikaku is innovation, trying to change. But are we giving opportunity for them? Is a thing which we need to talk about. That also depends upon managers like what we are trying. So we are trying to say how we drive innovation, how to you learn from failures, you learn from successes too, and giving the opportunity to try. And TVS is the luckily in that as well, we are able to try out new things because we don't have any big collaboration to work on. We can try. So we give opportunities for youngsters to try innovation in manufacturing, in design, in quality, in sensing, application for the old machines, try out. So it is an innovation driven drive to make people believe that they belong to the organization. Again, we go back into the purpose of the organization itself. Teamwork is extremely important in our case. In our automobile industry, teamwork is extremely important between different departments too. And we are trying to break it through all the CFT approach. And it is not only to the managers. We've gone into 4 levels. In the shop floor, we have all the I think Toyota, we learned from Toyota, all the QCCs, the quality improvement function, and the supervisors, we have SIT, supervisory improvement teams. In middle management and top management, we have cross-functional teams. And top management, we are talking breakthrough management. And we have a washer model and how much of time you're spending for daily management, improvement, breakthrough. If you are in a top management, you need to spend at least 70% on breakthrough. Not like today's work. Today, we need to ensure that the lower level team are working on mostly on the daily management and improvement. Like that, we are trying to make the role, and it's a journey again. It is not. I'm not saying we're all perfect. We're all learning. We learn a lot of things from the youngsters coming to our factory, and I believe in that. Especially get more of youngsters coming to our factory, talk to them, and every Friday we have our cluster meet where they read so many things today. Okay, they see on the cell phone, they forget it. So I'm asking them to capture it. And on Friday, tell what you have learned to the managers that I've learned this. Can I try this? So it is a reverse mentoring, forward mentoring, like that approach we're trying to work on. And one is very important thing which we find is celebration. Small improvement, celebrate. Make it as a thing that you have done it well. What did you learn? And what we learned from Toyota is celebrate 1 second and talk about 10 seconds what you improve upon. So that's what I learned. I don't know if this ratio is right or wrong, but the Toyota chief is here anyway. So they're trying to work towards learning and then saying celebration. So it is and especially when we talk about sending the engineers outside for the higher studies, we work very closely with their internship. What are they doing? What did they learn in different departments? Are they helping our and this thing? So we give lot of importance to the middle managers to take that responsibility. That's why we don't have any, we don't lay off any of our middle managers because they are very strong. Because top management is okay, middle management is very, very important. As long as even the supervisors in our area. And we involve the operators in improvement. Believe me, in our factory on Saturday, Sunday, we make modification in a line, reduce the amount of wastages, and one person will be reduced in that line. But that person will be participating in reduction. He knows that I will be able to go to another line and improve, and he participates on. So participation, involvement, innovation driven, and encouragement in our areas with the future in mind. A new product is coming, and what are we trying to do? What is the extent of it? And ensure that we celebrate the successes, learn from the failures, but try to this thing. Another thing which I learned from Germans in terms of go into depth. Don't leave the depth. Don't be on superficial, okay, I've got IoT, nothing like that. How many sensors you have put? Is the sensors working?
Okay.
Is it giving data? Don't leave those things.
Right.
So digital manufacturing is not about putting many things and getting data. How it works. Is it consistently working? Is getting benefit out of it? Are you taking decision
Right.
to improve the speed? So finally, that is the thing. And I find even this particular digital thing helping us to do speed with velocity. The reason I'm talking velocity is you go horizontally also. I learn, probably come down and say, no, I don't know the basics I have to learn, and go up in a data. So I don't believe only in the speed. Speed in the right direction towards velocity,
Right.
which will drive the digital with a purpose driven. That's the way we are trying to work in agro.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And Mr. Vidyadhar, now coming to Sansera specifically, what are the skill development challenges you're seeing in the organization? And how is Sansera overcoming that? And we spoke also about upskilling of the existing workforce. So, what initiatives are being undertaken at Sansera to upskill the existing workforce?
Yeah. See, before going to the question directly, there are a couple of things which any industry to be in the market need to realize and then accept it is technology is going to be there. There is no second thought about that. If any industry wants to be in the race or in the business, one has to get onto that technology bandwagon. Second thing is, whoever is the decision maker of any industry should have a conviction and commitment that technology has to be adopted to be in the market, to be competitive. So, having said those two things, this message has been sent to each and every employee participating in this digital transformation activity. That is how the Sansera has bought in that technology is the thing which is going to take us to the next levels. Without technology, we cannot survive in this market. That is Industry 4.0, especially, is not a simple or a tool which you can plug and play. It is a transformation of the culture of the entire organization. One has to unlearn many things which are given you the results in the past, but today it may not give you the results as expected. It may give the results its own time, but today speed is the talk of the day. The response time has to be reduced. If you see many of the OEMs they were releasing the vehicles once in 4 years or once in 3 years. Now every year you are getting, not even two-wheelers, every 6 months you find a new model. To adapt to that, the component manufacturers also should have to gear up for developing the components at a shorter speed, shorter time. To achieve that, digitalization is the only tool. So this message has been driven to every employee in the organization. So with this message, everybody is ready to accept whatever the changes need to be done within their day-to-day activities. This is being one. And second thing is, whatever the skill gaps were there, so those were identified, and then training for both, training for unlearning the past things which are not helping the digital transformation, and adopting the new skills which are required for adopting the digital transformation. This is the approach what Sansera has adopted to make the digital transformation smooth and easy. In some cases, it is quite difficult for some of the employees to adopt these kind of a new technology or new tools, special trainings, identification of those people. If at all not able to adopt, identifying the another function where they are suitable for that. So those kind of a relocation of the employees, these kind of approaches, in some cases, as many of my panelists also told, it is a top-down approach. There is no second thought about that. Though while configuring the digital tools, the end user has been kept in the mind, but the change has to be only by top-down approach. When there is a commitment and complete involvement by the decision makers or the management in this journey, the adoption will be very smooth. So just some customer is asking, that's why I want to go for industry 4.0, is definitely not going to work. So it is the top managements or the decision makers 100% commitment is very, very essential for this. Otherwise, the whatever the investment is going to be done is going to be just a waste kind of a thing. Fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, last question for you, Mr. Tej Kumar. We have a lot of young people in the audience also, and I'm sure this would be of benefit to the youngsters also. When you're looking to hire a new engineer, a fresh graduate, what are the 2 or 3 characteristics you look in that person before hiring?
Thank you. I thought not only audience, on the panel also youngsters are there. So it's encouraging to hear that word, like the moment the youth and vibrancy. Yeah, sure. I mean, a lot of youth are available here. Yeah, from the point of view, when we look at the present day engineers or any technical people, I think hats off to them. What we were and what they're several levels above, several levels above. And as Deverajan sir was telling, they know more than what we know. And we have to come out of that mindset that we know everything and we start asking them everything. That's not the way. So, our total approach towards selection of candidates has to change. But when we are primarily looking at, can a candidate not just his CGPA score? I think I'm not demeaning it. It is required. But this project work or is real core work, what is that stuff is there? Is it something disruptive? Is there a thought process which can bring a radical change to the way we are working? So certain points, you can see that in the eyes when we are speaking to the people, particularly engineers. His CGPA could be 6.3. It can be 7 also. But when you talk to him, we can see the spark there, and
Right.
the project itself can be a very good thing. So today, of course, attitude and behavior is one set, personality traits. But can he bring a disruptive thinking? Can he give us something, a thought process which can be really innovative? And innovation is not meant for R&D people alone. Innovation has to be at every levels, be it be shop floor, be it be operations, and be it be even in the office. Can it bring a change? So that type of a thinking way is what we really look at, and we try to do that. But since that's a small interaction, we may not be 100% correct, but most of the times we will be able to identify such things.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much for these inputs, Mr. Tej Kumar. And before we conclude the panel discussion, we'll go a little out of the syllabus now. I have a round of rapid fire question for our panelists. So the rules of the rapid fire, crisp replies. Let me start with you, Mr. Tej Kumar. Digital transformation. You are a athlete, so is it a marathon or it is a sprint?
It has to be, it is marathon.
Perfect. That's all. Thank you. Mr. Vidyadhar, coming to you now. I'll give you some options actually. in one line, the future of Indian manufacturing is, you can select out of these options. First option, fully charged and connected. Second option, made in India, coded by AI. Third option, smart, sustainable, and unstoppable. And the fourth option, from manual to magical. So, in one line, the future of Indian manufacturing. Which one would you select?
Smart, sustainable, and unstoppable.
Perfect, taken. Dr. Deverajan, coming to you. Now, when we talk about AI in manufacturing is like, I'll give you three options here. A Bollywood hero, occasionally dramatic, but ultimately he delivers. Second option, a mystery villain. You're not sure what it will do next. And the third option, a good director, knows how to get the best out of everyone.
I think this is third, which is
Third
very
one.
important, that we need to get what we need to get, we will get it. So we
Right.
need to get.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Mr. Madhusudan, last one for you. When we talk about a digital factory of 2030, what would it look like? A science fiction? Maybe from our times, Mr. Madhusudan, we had the Star Wars and all. Now, of course, it's changed to Robocops, that first option. Or the second option, a Formula One pit stop. Fast, precise, connected. And the third option, a Bollywood or let's say Sandalwood dance floor. Everyone perfectly synchronized.
I think it's a tough call between 2 and 3.
Yeah. So which one would you go for?
So I think I'll go with 3. It has to be synchronized.
Synchronized. Right. Thank you. A round of applause for the panelists. So we would. Yes, please. We'd like. I think we are running a little short of time, but maybe 2-3 questions we can take from you. Please take the mic. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. I've been a good friend of Deverajan and the team from TVS. They have been helping our micro small industry. I'm B.S. Srinivasan, Chairman of Industry Academy Connect of Laghu Udyog Bharati. At the various interaction across the state of Karnataka with the students, they ask me, how do I get into the manufacturing supply chain? Because they're not eligible moment they leave the college unless they go into a finishing school that the industry accept them. And this is particularly to you, Deverajan sir. And the second question to our Thej Kumar sir from Toyota. The automobile industry is in a total flux. And Toyota is the world leader in automobile. You're looking at fuel cell, where the world is going for EV. What will be the supply chain that you have developed over the last 50 or 60 years across the globe? What will they change to? And the third one, as Sansera sir, what I'm looking at, China has got 8 or 9 factories in Industry 4.0, slowly moving up to Industry 5.0. But we have an Indian factory in Europe, which is Industry 4.0, but not in India, but it's the Indian company is in Europe. How do we have a lamppost in India which can help replicate similar Industry 4.0 in our micro and small industry?
Yeah, Mr. Deverajan, Dr. Deverajan.
If I understand this question, how to see, we are going towards the colleges today. We want more engineers. So we are going towards the colleges, and we have what we are doing along with the colleges today is the final year or the 6th and 7th semester. We are trying to talk about the internship. So we believe that the engineers joining TVS should know the company very well. So we believe in internship, and the company also should know, and the engineers also should know, because many of the engineers today, they want software industry. They find, okay, automobile industry is tough, tight, difficult. Fabrication is difficult. Painting is difficult. So we like to go towards the IT in other areas. We want to change that. We want to tell our factory is not difficult in area, because many things are all automated ones. We're trying to say you are able to adopt into this situation. So we are going towards internship, and we are going towards different colleges in many areas. And even during selection, we give more importance to that what internship they have made, because it's important that as you study in first 5, 6 semesters, or we're able to apply into areas, and the onus lies both with the manufacturers like us and the institution to work towards the improvement of the curriculum. So we work with all the colleges. I think I go to many other colleges and say, can we change, including the credit system, what we have, can we tweak it a little bit, let it be more practical. Finally, at the end of the year, according to what we believe is how to make engineers coming out of the institution industry ready. That's important for us because the backbone for us is suppliers as well as the institutions who are supplying the engineers for us and the other ITIs. And second thing, we are working with ITIs to improve their capability. Good machines at their place. They are able to work along with the machines, not the older this thing at all. Today, CNC machine coming, programming is important. So it is a combined effort. And definitely, India is growing. And second thing is, please don't look at only big OEMs. There are so many MSMEs, so many in Pina, in BDD, and other places. Good engineers, you can get so much of opportunity. The opportunity to learn will be at the place the work is happening as far as the supply is concerned. Don't believe only in big names of TVS or Toyota. That's not the way I feel the engineers can look, because the opportunities are there in every MSME, in every small industries. We have tier 1, tier 2 for us. So that's the way I like to look at this.
Thank you.
Your question was in relation to the alternative fuel, and you also mentioned about the fuel cell cars. If you see, I would like to see journey of Toyota in India when it started from '98 to today, where we stand. So now Toyota has been very successful because of the today's hybrid cars. So we have the iCross and we have the Highrider, which are one of the popular models. And as of now, we don't find any competition to that, and still garnering a waiting period of about 4 to 5 months. In spite of Toyota working, probably this is the only plant in the world where it runs 3 shift operations. Nowhere Toyota runs beyond 2 shifts. But here we are running, and the Toyota plant is also in the expansion mode. So the demand for hybrid cars are there. But when you look at a global scenario, where Toyota has been working on alternative technologies like the hydrogen fuel and the fuel cells, what we're talking about. And that has been successful in couple of models and is in mass production in Japan. For example, if you take about the Prius or the Camrys and also the latest Mirai, if you take. But there is always a question mark. What is the scale of economy when you look at how does it fit into that particular country, and when we start talking about India per se, how does it fit into our situation? So looking all these things, then the strategies are developed. But when you come to the supply chain point of view, because of a specific technology driven approach, so any particularly the Toyotas, I can say one of the key strength of Toyota is they believe in suppliers, they join hands with suppliers, they help suppliers to grow, and they're part of supplier. Whether it's India, Thailand, or Africa, or anywhere, supplier is never treated as a somebody else who is just component supplying to them. They have programs, they have technology support. So all such handholding is there. But when it comes to specifically the latest technologies, when we are talking about hydrogen fuel tank and those type of things, Toyota may not be having, but Toyota's group companies. In fact, I represent Toyota group company, Toyota Gosei. So we are pioneers in hydrogen fuel tanks. And this we have introduced in Japan for Toyota cars. And there are certain discussions with other OEMs in India right now going on. So it is like Toyota doesn't develop a supplier to meet his requirement alone. A technology developed through his supplier base will also be, horizontally deployed to other OEMs. So from that viewpoint, it is the way what Toyota looks at, not from its own perspective, but from a larger perspective. And from that point of view of India, if you see, I think it may take a little more time when we're talking about those technologies, because our scale of activities are different. That's my say at this point of time.
Yeah, coming to the uh, companies industry 4.0 adoption in China and India, the environment in which the Chinese manufacturers are operating and the Indian manufacturers are operating are completely different. So as we know, the Chinese manufacturers have a lot of support and the subsidies from the government, due to which they are in a position to be ready for any new technology adoption, and having the capacities are also built well in advance before the customers or the OEMs ask from them. Whereas in India, that kind of an support is not there. Each industry has to sustain on its own. So every paise that is being spent has to be thought of, the returns out of it, and then it is being spent. So, and that being a situation, today in India, we may not be seeing much of an adoption of Industry 4.0. On the other hand, once the industry's owners or the decision makers realize that this is going to be beneficial for us, we will be on a fast track on those things. For that, the education and the demand from the customers is one which is going to push the industries in India to adopt for 4.0. This is what I would like to put across. Thank you.
Any other question? Yes. Please
Yeah.
introduce yourself.
Yeah, I am Aditya. I am a software specialist from Tata Elxsi. My question to the panel is, so we have seen in August 2025 cyber security attack on Jaguar Land Rover in UK, so which caused the JLR to completely shut down its manufacturing unit for 5 weeks, causing 1.9 billion euros loss. So in this journey of transformation or bringing AI or IoT things, what are the steps you are looking to avoid this kind of attacks? Or once you put your data to AI or anything, so it will be easy for attackers to change your dimensions or drawings, which is completely which is running in your line. So are we in the right path to attack, to ensure these attacks, or to not causing anything in your plants? So this is my question.
Very good question. Anyone? Would you like? Anyone like? To
Yeah.
take?
Okay. See, in India, the core strength of the manufacturing industries is manufacturing. But wisely, the manufacturing industries, as I mentioned, anything that is spent is looked upon with a very important point of a thing. What is it getting back to me? And we don't have a resources to deploy on developing the securities against the IT attacks. That is not our core strength. That being a situation, what Indian manufacturers, especially kind companies like us, are doing is we are evaluating the ready solutions available in the market, which can protect us from these kind of attacks, and we are employing them. This is, in a way, not venturing in the area where I am not at all expert, and supporting the industries which are already experts and then spend their resources onto that. Only intelligent thing that we need to do is, while evaluating, is it meeting our risk factors? For that, I'm sure many of the industries, manufacturing industries, have an officer which is mandatory as of now, is a chief risk officer. Whatever the technology we are adopting, whether it is risk free, if there are risks, identifying those risks and building the countermeasures for that is one of the activity whenever the new technology is being adopted. So this is how each of the manufacturing industries are taking some steps. This is what I understand.
Taking it one step ahead, see, there are best practices that are being adopted. Now, example, now, let us say we have a factory that has been connected. So there are ways and means of achieving the security aspect by isolating the networks, having firewalls between the shop network and the corporate network. So those best practices are being adopted and followed now. And to add to what my colleague just said, there are security standards that have to be adhered to. So we have to confirm that our applications are satisfying those security breaches or security standards. So those audits are also being performed. For example, wherever we have installed in corporates, there is a third party audit that goes on, like either a big five consulting firm or somebody will audit the application and point out that these are the potential loopholes. As an example, Modbus. Modbus is a very popular protocol in the industrial segment, but that is prone to attacks. That is showing up as one of the potential loopholes in the network. So the moment that comes up, we are forced to take action on that. So we have to move away from Modbus, bring in a layer of security, or go for a Profinet based protocol. So these things are being discussed, and this is becoming very important now, especially in the corporate sector.
So yeah, last question.
Yes.
You have a question? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Just
So
introduce yourself.
I'm Prince Anand. As Vidyadhar sir said that we are shifting to shorter product life cycles. Uh, a dynamic shift that I were to assume, and as manufacturing shifts from standardized products to more customized and customer centric modular products, more agile, how would organizations safely decentralize decision making for product development that is more customized, more agile, at the same time by empowering the shop floor for decision making for customized products by leaner supply chain, and at the same time preserving the efficiency, quality, and the lean disciplines within the organization for efficiency? So how do you deliver more customized products with efficiency maintained? How would organizations shift towards that with digital support systems?
The answer is also the digital technology adoption in that. See, there are, even in manufacturing sector, we have a lot of digital technologies coming in. For example, 3D printing, and that is one easily adoptable tool which we can develop the necessary tools for manufacturing those products. Another thing is modular design of the internal resources like fixtures, tools, to even to design those fixtures, standardized products. See, any new product will have some basic things, some changed things. So basic things we are keeping it as ready as a standard things available in the repository. Use them, tweak only the changes what is needed, and then start developing those products. This is how we are trying to adopt to the shortest need of the customers.
I think the same thing. What we're trying to do is how many modular units are there and how I'm building on top of it. During the design stage itself for the product, we deliberate. We say what all changes can happen. In fact, I believe I was in one of the, when 10 years back, one Toyota expert came to our company. He called me and said, how are you designing the fixtures in your area? He said, this is the area we're trying to do the fixtures. He told me one important thing, which is a lesson for me. He said, in Toyota, I don't know, when he was talking from Thailand, I think so. He was talking about we are making the fixtures for the product which we know and products which we don't know. That's the thing he told me. Then we started expanding what all can change. Then in our factory, what we done is made a horizon. What all can change? Are we ready for change? So keep the dowel same, keep the modification of it. Like that, we're trying to build on it. It is nothing, there's nothing which is written down that how to bring it's a flexibility which should be driven towards the design itself. So that's the thing I learned from what the expert told me. Then you do you know the horizon in which the changes can happen. And even in a final assembly line, we have a horizon in which you can change. And believe me, we are using that technology, which was told, I think 10 or 12 years back. We are trying to bring it digital now. We're talking about IoT. That's all fine. But he told me a very strong this thing. Do you design for a product which you know, for the product which you don't know? That's the topic I learned from the.
Even the flexibility that we talk about, it can be at the last level, at the manufacturing level itself. For example, there are flexible machines with vision-based systems integrated with those machines. Especially when you are dealing with aluminum castings for wheels, etc., the wheels look very similar to the naked eye. And there is a poke-yoke that is implemented through the vision system, which will exactly know what type of finished product is required from this casting. And it reconfigures the machine by loading the right program, choosing the right tools, etc., within a fraction of a second. So this is the kind of technology that will allow you to make your production more flexible.
Yeah,
More
one last
varieties can
question.
be.
One last question. Let it be brief.
Yeah. Just
I mean,
add to
question.
that. What is routine? Try to make it standardized. For example, connecting rod in every vehicle is a connecting rod. It has two holes, some thickness. What is going to change is the bore sizes and the pitch and the thickness. What we have done is in the design stage itself, we have developed, standardized the procedure, manufacturing procedure, and developed a program which can develop all the manufacturing documents in one day, which used to take 8 days earlier. Now it is being taken only 1 day, given the parameters. That is how we are trying to adopt the uh, advanced timing.
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Pratap from Toyoda Gosei. I have one question. Actually, Vidyadhar sir, while talking, he spoke about the fund for implementation of the Industry 4.0. Big MNCs have the huge budget they can implement. When we consider about MSMEs and small scale industries, fund is the major factor. So they'll have from legacy machines to the most advanced technology machines, everything. So, what are the key factors to be considered for low cost implementation or cost efficiency? Can you throw some light on that so that they can take the input and they can consider these points for the future implementation? Thank you.
Yeah.
See, as I mentioned, adopting the technology, there is no second thought about that. One has to mentally get prepared for adopting the technologies. First thing is commitment is one thing what is needed from the management. Start in a very small way, in a small group or small function of the organization, incorporating these digital tools. Evaluate, improvise, reap the benefit, understand whether that benefit is going to be useful for the organization. So that is how it has to be started in a very small way. But while implementing in a small way, keep the features in such a way that it can be scaled to a bigger level at a later stage. So this is how step by step we can go for digital transformation.
Think we had a. Oh, you want to?
Well, what we have done in our things is, even in our company, we are very old machines and the new machines coming in. So we are trying to work, show that it can work. So making sensors in our area, in the spindle, in the fixtures, poke-yoke, and it can talk. So implement, learn from yourself, and then you can talk to others. It's not just saying that you implement. So going into what we have done in the factory, extending to the same thing, older machines getting sensorized. First is ensure that all the things are sensorized first. Data is captured. And it is all, and today cost is so low. Sensors are so low today. Very easy to adopt. Now, I'm just talking about the practical experiences. IoT is not rocket science. It's simple step taken at every point of time, every area in which the work is being happen, capturing it. And today cost is very, very low. So I think it is possible for us, like what he said about commitment, ensure that you have inquisitiveness to learn about it, and you can get it done. I think, and like OEMs, we also try to make it happen inside the factory, show it, take in tier one. Very important as tier two, who can take it up in the development. Then only the journey can.
There are a lot of government programs are coming up to support these kind of an digitalization. So look for those programs which is beneficial and easy to adopt for yourself. You can go for that, which is going to cost and affordable.
Yeah, I think we had a wonderful session and one of the very well attended session also. And just I want to close it with two anecdotes. My brother-in-law had a TVS 50, 1977, and his son kept it till recently, and he is still running. I want to compliment TVS, 1977. And there was no IoT on that time, during that time. And of course, efficiency, I don't know. And this session had been a wonderful session. And talking of data, I was in a foundry, and that time it was time-based incentives. And one assembly, I had put 1 minute 30 seconds. And the union leader came to me and told, it cannot be 1 minute 30 seconds, you must make it 2 minutes 30 seconds. Because when I put 2 minutes 30 seconds, incentive is 50 rupees. Suppose the operator does it in 1 minute 30 seconds, he will get double that incentive. So it is, data is very, very predictable during those days, of course. Now it is changed, I think. Yeah, so I must thank all the panelists. Please give a big hand to all of them.
Okay.